Hello, English learners, and welcome to Smart Listening Lab, the channel where we make listening to English an adventure. The title of this video is How to Learn English Speaking, The Secret to Fluency. I'm your host, Amy, a senior English teaching coach. Today, I want to share a deeply personal and inspiring story about one of my former students, John, and his incredible journey to mastering English. His story isn't just about language, it's about courage, resilience, and the power of changing your mindset. John's struggle, the quiet room. John started his English learning journey like so many of you. He was a diligent student, the kind who would meticulously highlight every grammar rule and memorize long lists of vocabulary. He could ace a written exam, but when it came to a real conversation, his mind would go blank. It felt like his brain was running a race it was destined to lose. He saw his peers laughing and chatting freely in English, and a crushing sense of loneliness would wash over him. He felt like an outsider looking in, trapped behind a silent wall of his own making. I remember one afternoon John came to see me after class. He walked with his head down, his shoulders slumped as if carrying a heavy weight. He didn't even make eye contact. He just sat there, and for a long moment the silence was deafening. Then he looked up, and his eyes were filled with a profound sadness. "Amy," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "It feels like everyone else is on a train going full speed, and I'm still at the station, watching them pull away. I'm so tired of feeling like this." The pain in his voice was raw and genuine. He told me about the endless cycle of frustration, the way people would casually say, "Just practice more," or "Don't be shy." He said these simple comments made him feel even more isolated, as if his inability to speak fluently was a personal failing, a lack of willpower. He confided in me that he was ready to give up on English for good. It wasn't just a subject anymore, it was a source of deep anxiety and self-doubt. That's when I knew we had to change the approach completely. I looked him in the eye and said, "John, your problem isn't your vocabulary or grammar. It's not your will to learn. Your problem is your listening. You're not just hearing the words, you're hearing your own self-doubt. Your ears have to be trained to lead the way for your voice to follow." I told him we were going to build a new path, and this one would start with his ears, not his mouth. John's challenges. Beyond the textbook. John's struggles were more than just a lack of spoken fluency. They were a series of hidden challenges that eroded his confidence. The first major hurdle was the accent wall. He had primarily learned British English from textbooks, so when he encountered American or Australian accents, he was completely lost. The different pronunciations, intonations, and connected speech felt like a foreign language. He'd tell me, "They don't even say the T sound in the middle of words like I learned." This created immense confusion and made him feel like he was back at square one every time he heard a new accent. Then there was the slang minefield. His friends would use idioms and phrasal verbs that he'd never seen in a book. Phrases like hang out, break up, or what's up were completely alien to him. He'd spend hours trying to translate them word for word, a futile exercise that left him feeling intellectually inadequate. This inability to grasp casual conversation was a major source of embarrassment, making him hesitant to socialize with English speakers. Finally, the speed trap was a constant source of anxiety. Native speakers talk fast, so fast, in fact, that the words seemed to blend into one long, unintelligible sound. John's brain simply couldn't process the rapid stream of information. He would hear the first two words of a sentence and be so focused on trying to understand them that he'd miss the rest of the message entirely. This feeling of being left behind in every conversation was a core reason for his isolation and despair. The smart listening method, a journey of willpower. John's willpower was tested from day one. I could see the hesitation in his eyes, but also a flicker of hope. He committed to what I call the smart listening method. The first step was to find content he genuinely loved, something that would ignite his passion and make the process less of a chore. He was a massive fan of science documentaries and space exploration, so I found a short clip about the Mars rover. The content was thrilling, and it gave him a reason to listen beyond just learning English. The technique was deceptively simple, but it demanded incredible discipline. Phase 1. The immersion bath. For the first week, he did nothing but listen to the clip for 15 minutes a day, with no subtitles, no dictionary, just pure, unadulterated listening. His only goal was to get his ears accustomed to the sounds, the cadence, and the rhythm of native English. He was not allowed to try and understand every word. I told him to just let the sounds wash over him like a warm bath. It was about training his brain to recognize the music of the language, not the individual notes. Phase 2. The active search. The following week, we revisited the same clip. This time, I gave him a small list of 10 keywords and phrases from the video, like geological features and atmospheric pressure. His mission was to listen and identify only these specific phrases. This wasn't about comprehension, it was about focused listening. Every time he heard one of those phrases, a small triumphant smile would appear on his face. It was the first sign that the wall of frustration was starting to crack. Phase 3. The transcription challenge. This was the most grueling part. I had him listen to a single 30-second sentence from the clip and try to write down every single word he heard. It was frustrating, and he often got only half of the words right. But this exercise was the key. It forced his brain to pay attention to subtle sounds, a process known as phonemic awareness. This meticulous work trained his brain to make the crucial connection between the sounds he was hearing and the words he already knew. The breakthrough and John's transformation. The change didn't happen overnight. There were days he would come to my office with that same defeated look, ready to quit. But he kept going, fueled by the tiny incremental victories. The first time he understood a full, complex sentence, his eyes lit up. The first time he correctly transcribed a difficult phrase, he actually laughed with relief. As his listening skills improved, something remarkable began to happen. His fear started to fade. He realized that he could understand spoken English, and that understanding gave him the confidence to try speaking. He started small, answering questions in our one-on-one sessions with more ease and less hesitation. Then, he began to participate in group discussions, first with short answers, then with longer, more detailed thoughts. The transformation was truly inspiring. The slumped shoulders were gone, replaced by an easy confidence. His smile returned, and he started helping other students who were struggling just like he once had. John's story is a testament to the fact that fluency isn't a magical gift. It's a journey built on small, consistent steps. His success didn't come from a magical trick, but from the simple, powerful act of training his ears to lead the way. So, if you're feeling frustrated, remember, John. Start with your listening. Your voice will follow. Summary of John's English learning journey. John's journey to English fluency was a testament to the power of a new approach. He started with deep frustration, feeling isolated because his grammar and vocabulary skills didn't translate into confident speaking. He was on the verge of giving up until I introduced him to the SMART listening method. This three-phase technique, starting with passive listening to get used to the sound of English, then moving to active listening to identify key words, and finally to the rigorous transcription challenge, was the key to his transformation. By training his ears first, John built the foundation for his confidence, which allowed his voice to finally emerge. His story shows that focusing on understanding spoken English is the most effective way to overcome frustration and achieve true fluency. What about you? Have you ever felt like John struggling with English? Share your story in the comments below. I read every single one, and you never know. Your journey might inspire someone else.